Very warm welcome to all the regional directors and the students of Certificate in Community Health Program who are attending this teleconference session today. Today, I will be discussing about the communicable diseases and particularly vaccine preventable diseases in detail with you. This is taken from BNS 041 Block 3 Unit 3, that is on infectious diseases. So there are a number of communicable diseases, and out of them vaccine preventable diseases, which are the major killer and they can lead to disability in the childhood. So main concentration will be on the killer diseases which are under the 5 years of age in children. They can kill the child. So these diseases are tuberculosis, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, poliomyelitis and measles. So let us see the tuberculosis. It is caused by the bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Annually, 3 to 4 million people are dying due to the disease, out of which 90% of the deaths occur in the developing country. And this Mycobacterium bacilli particularly attacks the lungs in 90% of the cases, that is known as pulmonary tuberculosis, and it can also cause infection in any part of the body, any organ of the body other than lungs also in 10% of the cases, and that is known as extrapulmonary tuberculosis that may affect bones, joints, central nervous system, gastrointestinal system or the gastrourinary system, eyes, ear, heart and skin, etc. So apart from that, how tuberculosis spread? As I told, the 90% of the cases are pulmonary tuberculosis cases. So any pulmonary tuberculosis case, the one who has been infected with the lungs infection can infect due to his coughing a large number of bacilli which get spread in the air, and they remain suspended for a variable period of time depending upon their size. And this infected person, when spread the bacilli in the environment, any person who inhales this air, infected air, can develop tuberculosis if the immunity of that person is lower. Then the symptoms of the tuberculosis, mainly the tuberculosis is suspected when an ill child has a history of cough, and that cough is if more than 2 weeks of duration, can be suspected case, and followed by chest pain and hemoptysis, as well as if there is a history of weight loss and evening grade low rise fever. These are the typical symptoms of the tuberculosis. But in case of children, the symptoms are more likely to develop as extrapulmonary tuberculosis, because, and this extrapulmonary tuberculosis in case of children under 5 years of age can be a killer disease. So these are the 3 types of TB which are more dangerous forms of tuberculosis in children. Number 1 is tubercular meningitis. Number 2, it is the miliary tuberculosis, and number 3, disseminated tuberculosis. So these are the 3 dangerous forms of tuberculosis which can kill the child. So what happens in tubercular meningitis? It is characterized by the convulsions and meningeal irritation and central nervous system paralysis, and it can also lead to coma. In case of miliary tuberculosis, small discrete millet seed like shadows that appears in the all over the lungs and can be very fatal to the children below 5 years of age. And disseminated tuberculosis, in which the bacilli spread to distant sites, that means they spread all the organs of the body through lymphomatogenous route and may reach to liver, spleen, joints, bones, etc. So these are the three forms of tuberculosis which are very dangerous for the children under 5 years of age. Then how we can prevent? As you know, BCG is the only way to prevent. At birth it is given to every newborn baby, irrespective of the child is born in the hospital or at home delivery. So BCG is the first protective vaccine which is given to the newborn baby. And another way is to prevent is the prompt treatment with appropriate anti-tubercular drugs. So early diagnosis and treatment, which is also the strategy under RNTCP that can convert the patient to non-infectious type within 48 hours, and in majority of the cases the sputum positive patient can become sputum negative if the early treatment is started, and also prevent further spread of the disease in the community. And as BCG is the first vaccination which is given, so here you play a very important role to educate the mothers that after BCG vaccination, a small elevation that appears of nearly 5 mm size that appears at the site of injection, and it usually disappear within 30 to 90 minutes. So mother should be aware that this wheal has developed because the intradermal vaccination has been given, and within 30 to 90 minutes it will get disappear. If the mother knows that she has to observe, then she can say that it has disappeared within 90 minutes. But what happens after appropriately 3 to 4 weeks, an induration develops, same size induration or that elevation develops of 5 to 8 mm in diameter at the site of the injection, and a lump or the papule is visible after 4 weeks. Then this papule get ulcerated and a scar at the site of the vaccination develops within 10 to 12 weeks, and that means you have to advise that nothing should be applied on it. Even if it is there, let it leave like that, and it will get dry up and leave a scar. So presence of scar means that the child has been successfully immunized for the BCG vaccination. So this is the important health education regarding BCG vaccination, which you must know. Then comes the another communicable disease which is known as diphtheria, and this diphtheria is also caused by the bacteria. The name of that bacteria is Corynebacterium diphtheria, and it usually occurs in the colder months as there is seasonal variation. So to early identify these symptoms of diphtheria, the baby will be having sore throat, loss of appetite or slight fever, and cervical lymphadenitis. So these are the early symptoms which will alert you that you can suspect the case of diphtheria. Within 2 to 3 days, a bluish white or gray membrane forms in the throat and the tonsils. In that throat and tonsil area, a membrane develops which is initially bluish white or grayish in color, and if there is bleeding, then the membrane may become grayish green or black due to bleeding, and it sticks to the soft palate and in the mouth, and bleeding may occur if the attempts are made to remove it. If mother sees that membrane and tries to remove it, it will further bleed, and in severe cases this membrane may obstruct the airway. So if the airway gets obstructed, then the child will not be able to breathe. So inflammation and edema of the surrounding tissues and the toxin released from this membrane can cause neuritis, myocarditis, and the renal damage, and this can be very, very fatal to the child. So diphtheria is having that membrane on the respiratory tract which may get obstructed and the child may die. So that is why we say these are the killer diseases. Now the for prevention, again, because they are vaccine preventable diseases, so vaccine is available under universal immunization program, and the most effective way of preventing diphtheria as well as many other vaccine preventable diseases is by active immunization of the child. And nowadays the vaccine available is the pentavalent vaccine given to the children at the age of 6 weeks, then 10 weeks and the 14 weeks. So pentavalent vaccine is given in 3 doses, 6 weeks duration of the child, age of the child, 10 weeks duration, age of the child and the 14 weeks, and followed by, after this pentavalent vaccine, there are booster doses given to the child. The name of the vaccine is DPT booster dose, and the first booster dose is given at 16 to 24 months of age, that means up to 2 years, and a second booster dose is given at 5 years of age, and each dose is of 0.5 ml in amount, and the second dose is administered within a minimum gap of 4 weeks after the first dose. So it is injected intramuscularly on the anterolateral side of the thigh. So this is also important for you to remember that what is the way to prevent diphtheria in children with the help of vaccination, and when it is given and what duration amount of the dose is to be given and where it is to be given. Now comes the pertussis. This is another vaccine preventable disease, and it is also one of the killer disease. It is highly communicable, which is again caused by the bacteria. The name of the bacteria is Bordetella pertussis. So you can remember the pertussis with the word meaning intense cough means per, and tussis means coughing. So intense coughing with the bouts of coughing spells, a typical whoop sound, hence is also called as whooping cough. So this is the pertussis, can be called with other name, that is whooping cough, due to the meaning of its name. The disease is most dangerous again in children under 5 years of age, and it can also spread it by the droplet nuclei droplet infection, and with the attack rate of 100% by coughing and sneezing. So it is also a droplet infection. Now comes the tetanus, another important disease, which is a killer disease in case of children, caused by anaerobic organisms. That is, the name of the organism is Clostridium tetani. Anaerobic means which can grow in the absence of oxygen. So this Clostridium tetani is mostly present in the soil, in dust, and in the alimentary tract of the various animals. And it also has one of the characteristics that it forms a spore on it. So that spore does not get killed by the process of boiling. So you have to remember that this can only be killed by autoclaving. So boiling will also not help. So but autoclaving is very, very effective, and it occurs due to how this disease occurs. It occurs due to the contamination of the wound by the soil and dirt. So that is why we say to even toddlers when they are playing in the soil with their barefoot, so not to play barefooted in the soil. If there are any cracks on the feet, then it can enter, that tetanus bacilli can enter through the wound and or through those cracks, and later on it can cause the killer disease. And in case of newborn, it is called as neonatal tetanus, NNT. You can get the full form of NNT, so you should know that it is neonatal tetanus, and which is very, very fatal disease. Neonatal tetanus again can occur as the newborn baby is not going to play in the dust, but newborn baby can get this infection by the cutting of the cord with the help of unsterilized blade or application of any dirty substance on the umbilical stump of the newborn baby. So these are the routes by which this tetanus bacilli enters the newborn baby also. If the unsterilized cutting blade is used for cutting the umbilical cord, or if something is applied due to some practices which are adopted in the community, so newborn baby can also get infected with the, and which is very, very dangerous. And if a mother who is pregnant, and during pregnancy the 2 doses of tetanus is not being given to that mother, so she has chances of giving this infection to the newborn baby. So these are the various mode of spread of this disease, and the goal is to eliminate neonatal tetanus to the level below 1 case per 10,000 live births in every district. So for all deliveries, that is why to be conducted by the trained personals, or nowadays we say that every delivery should be institutional delivery under 5 clean or hygienic conditions. Then to prevent the tetanus, immunization of the pregnant woman with the 2 doses of tetanus toxoid to be administered at the interval of 4 weeks each. So, and first dose can be given as early as possible, and the second dose after 1 month or 1 month before the delivery, it should be given before delivery, and the delivery should be done by the trained birth attendants or the trained personals in the hospital side, and all 5 cleans to be kept in mind while conducting the delivery and encouraging institutional deliveries. So these are the ways to prevent, and also community should be educated enough with the help of awareness programs at your level. You can give this awareness that hand washing should be properly done before handling the child, or nothing should be applied on the cord, or any such practices should be avoided. Then another infectious disease is the poliomyelitis. As you know, the poliomyelitis is an acute viral infection caused by RNA virus known as poliovirus. So you can get even this kind of question in the multiple choice, the name of the virus which is causing poliovirus, and it has 3 serotypes, that is 1, 2 and 3, and all these 3 serotypes can cause paralysis, and the most outbreak of the paralytic poliomyelitis are due to type 1 virus. So paralytic poliomyelitis is the most common cause of acute flaccid paralysis, AFP also we say, acute flaccid paralysis, and it may have influenza-like symptoms like fever, sore throat, loose stools, stomach upset and headache. So these are the symptoms with which we can suspect the case of polio also. And the transmission of the polio virus is through fecal-oral route, which enters the body through the mouth with the, it can also lead to due to contamination of the water. So the last case of the polio in India was reported in 2011, and finally in 2014 the Southeast Asian region was declared as polio free. And the polio prevention involves immunization with the oral polio vaccination, and oral polio vaccine is very heat sensitive vaccine. Now the eradication of polio. You see, the supplementary immunization is still going on in the form of mass immunization through national immunization days, which are called as the pulse polio program, and intensify polio program for the children between 0 to 59 months of age. And sub-national immunization days are also being organized for the high-risk areas. Normally, two rounds targeting to cover 100% children of the target age, and additional rounds vary from 2 to 4 rounds for sub-national immunization days. That means strengthening the routine immunization so as to reach the very high coverage among the target groups of the beneficiaries, as infant for the primary immunization, and children in 1 to 2 years of age group for the booster doses. So enhanced surveillance of acute flaccid paralysis is also part of the polio eradication program, and the reporting has been made mandatory by the government for the any case of acute flaccid paralysis, if found, has to be reported mandatory. Then measles is the another communicable disease. As you know, it is also known as rubella, and if you see, the rubella means these are the red spots. Rubella means red spots which are caused by the measles virus, and it is also airborne disease transmitted by the droplet infection, and it is characterized by fever, cough, coryza, conjunctivitis, and coplic spots, followed by generalized skin rashes which appears on the fourth day of the illness. So on fourth day, when these red spots starts appearing on the as skin rashes, so it can be suspected as measles, and the outbreaks occurs in the crowding and where the poverty is more, where large number of non-immunized people are in close contact to the measles case, then outbreak may also occur. And the newborn and the young infants are protected by the maternal antibody transferred through the placenta. So the maternal antibodies protect the newborn baby till 9 months of age. So who recover from the measles are also being immunized for the lifelong. Once a measles attack occurs, it gives lifelong immunity also. Now children should receive 1 dose of measles vaccine at the age of 9 months. So 9 months is the age when the measles vaccination should be done, and this is the age when along with measles vaccine the child also start taking the dose of vitamin A, because the measles is a major cause of blindness among the children because of the development of acute deficiency of vitamin A during the attack of measles. If attack of measles occurs, it can give blindness to the child due to vitamin A deficiency. So at 9 months of age, you should educate the community that at the same time a dose of vitamin A should also be given to the baby or infant at 9 months with the spoon. It is given with the help of spoon orally rather than any injection. So injection is the measles injection, and vitamin A is given orally with the help of spoon. Now measles vaccine is very safe if reconstituted vaccine is used within 4 hours. Measles vaccine within 4 hours it should be given, and 1 sterile needle and syringe should be used for every single infant, and there is always a risk of toxic shock syndrome due to growth of Staphylococcus aureus. And if the process of sterilization is not followed strictly during the measles vaccination, or if the vaccine is used beyond 4 hours, in both the cases this is a programmatic failure or programmatic error. So in the national immunization program or universal immunization program, measles vaccine failure will occur with the programmatic error if there is any sterilization deficiency, or if the vaccine is given beyond after reconstitution or beyond 4 hours in both the cases. So all the effort should be made to ensure that such programmatic error do not occur. And you should also know that the programmatic error is responsible for 58% of the adverse events following immunization. So we should be very particular in taking care of the infant. When infant is coming to us, we should be following all the antiseptic measures to immunize the child, as well as there should not be such errors, because we are aware that this happens, so we should not repeat such errors. Then after the measles, we can discuss about the hepatitis B. This is types of hepatitis virus, which is namely type A, type B, C and E, and also delta hepatitis. Out of this, hepatitis B is an acute systematic infection with the major pathology in the liver caused by the hepatitis B virus. So HBV shortly is short form, and hepatitis B virus, and the usual route of transmission is through parenteral route. So if hepatitis B is also transmitted like HIV from the blood, as we say it as blood-borne infection, and through unprotected sex also, but it is 100 times more infectious than HIV. And the infant who are infected may show the symptoms, but high risk of chronic carriage, that is in case more than 90% becomes the carriage, and virus can survive for weeks outside the body, and WHO recommend HBV vaccine for all the children worldwide. So with this we have covered today mainly vaccine preventable diseases. These are also called communicable diseases, or we can say them as killer diseases in children under 5 years of age. So today tuberculosis has been covered in detail. Along with that, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, measles, poliomyelitis and hepatitis B. And for all these, you need to know one thing, that is vaccine in the form of pentavalent vaccine which is available, and it has got all 5 disease protection from all the 5 diseases, as the name says, penta. And apart from that, DPT booster doses will protect against diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus, and measles, which is given at 9 months of age, along with vitamin A prophylaxis to the children. With this, I conclude the session, and thank you very much for participating in the session. Thank you.
Do you wish to be part of a television studio like this, or any other media system, or already part of any media system, want to enhance a new set of skills? Welcome to School of Journalism and New Media Studies. Here in the School of Journalism and New Media Studies, we are offering program for all set of people to learn and enhance their media skills. The vision of School of Journalism and New Media Studies is to generate a new set of professionals in the area of media and communication studies with understanding about role of media in the national development and global understanding. We offer innovative programs in the field of journalism and mass communication that sets the benchmark of high quality learning and teaching process at the national level. We offer these programs across the country with the help of our regional network as well as study center. Same manner, many of our programs are offered through online mode with a sophisticated learning management system. SOGNMS offers programs from PhD in journalism and mass communication till certificate level. We have masters in journalism and mass communication. The eligibility is a bachelor's degree, and we are introducing this program in 3 languages: Hindi, Tamil and English. Students from national and international students can join either through online mode as well as in the distance mode. We have 4 postgraduate diploma programs, specialized areas in the field of development communication, digital media, electronic media and journalism and mass communication program. And all these 4 programs are available in distance mode. 2 programs are available in online mode, development communication and digital media. And we have specialized certificate program in community radio. IGNOU employs various media and communication tools for better teaching and learning process. School of Journalism and New Media Studies utilizes this media system for delivering all our programs. Come and join with us for exploring a new career and enhance your media skills.
Are you a fresh graduate? Do you want to fulfill your educational aspiration by pursuing higher education in various interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary areas like environmental science, environment and occupational health, philosophy, sustainability science, folklore and culture studies? If yes, the School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies offers various programs like Master's Program, Graduate Program, Postgraduate Diploma, Certificate and Appreciation Program. The school offers 5 Master's Program. Master of Science, Environmental Science. The eligibility criteria for MSc Environmental Science is Graduate in Science, BTech, BE, Agriculture Graduate, Forestry Graduate and Veterinary Graduate. School also offers Masters in Environment and Occupational Health, Masters in Sustainability Science, Masters in Philosophy and Masters in Folklore and Culture Studies. The eligibility criteria for these 4 Masters program is graduate in any discipline. The school also offers various socially relevant and need-based PG Diploma program like PG Diploma in Sustainability Science, PG Diploma in Environment and Occupational Health, PG Diploma in Folklore and Culture Studies and PG Diploma in Migration and Diaspora Studies. The school also offers PG Certificate in Climate Change and Avshist Prabandhan mein Praman Patra. The school also offers 2 doctoral programs.
Hello, welcome you all. Myself, Dr. MP Misra, Faculty, School of Computer and Information Sciences, IGNOU. I welcome you all in this session. Today I am with you in this session on a topic that introduce you one of the very important course or practical oriented course in the second semester of our MCA-IGNOU program. The course is Introduction Web Technologies, and the title of this session is Introduction to MCS 220, that is the course code of this course, Web Technologies. And in this session I will try to discuss about what is the basic objective of this course, why this course is one of the important course of this second semester of MCA program, and if you are doing this course sincerely, what kind of additional advantage you will get in terms of making yourself market ready or more sellable whenever you are presenting in front of a interview, or you are looking for a job in the area of application development in computer science, or you are looking for application development job specifically in advanced Java programming. So as I mentioned, advanced Java programming, so this course is about the utilization of advanced Java programming concept with the help of some well-established, very popular industry-oriented design frameworks which are used for the purpose of development of the applications. So with this, let me start my discussion. And before I move further, let me introduce you about the objective of this course, or let me have a brief discussion about what is the core objective of this course and why this course is designed considering these many aspects which I am going to discuss here. Main objective of this course is to make you aware about the tools and technologies which are used for the development of the distributed, secure, reliable and scalable web application using J2E platform. So J2E technologies provide you array of components in it, and those different components are used for the purpose of incorporation of different kind of functionalities or features in the application which you develop. This course discusses some commonly used design patterns also. It discusses about the servlets and JSP, that is the core component of the J2E framework or J2E technologies. Also, this course covers extensively about the Spring Boot, Spring Framework, Hibernate, and towards the end of this course, or the final block of this course, covers about the web security. So the final block related to web security not only cover about the basic philosophy or the concept related to web security, but it also motivate you and provide you the technological concepts and aspects related to actual implementation of the web security in the development of the web application. So that is the beauty of this program, that it is basically making you more aware about how actually you can develop web application using the different components, tools, technologies and the frameworks available in the market. And obviously these frameworks which we will be discussing or we will be learning in this particular course are extensively used in very well established IT companies across the world. And we can say these technologies and tools are mainly used by those companies which are handling applications of the large scale, or which are having very large number of employees in the range of thousands or more. Those companies are using these technologies. The number of employees I'm mentioning here specifically because it will give a kind of weightage and credibility to the technology which you are learning, and how actually this particular technology, when you will learn, be in position to make yourself more presentable, more sellable when you go in the market. So this course will definitely help you to be market ready, be competent enough to face the interview in the area of advanced Java concepts or advanced Java tools and technologies, and specifically J2E related technologies. And one thing I mention here before I move further about discussion of the details of the different components or different sections of this particular course, what is covered in this course, is that there is a very basic prerequisite for this course. You should have basic knowledge of Java programming, and you should have a strong concept of object oriented analysis and design. So for the Java programming concept, it is assumed that you know Java. If you don't know Java, you have to learn Java. You have to go like a very quick learning process, and then you will be in position to learn the Java programming concepts from very basic concepts of Java programming, that includes the concept of class, objects, then inheritance, then polymorphism, maybe the basic concepts of object-oriented programming or object-oriented philosophy, that is abstraction, encapsulation, data hiding, inheritance, polymorphism. So these concepts are expected to be known to you. In addition to that, you should be aware about how exception handling and other features are useful in development of Java application, along with use of the concepts of interfaces and the concept of creation of packages and utilization of packages in application development. So if we talk about the structure of this particular course, so this course is logically divided in 4 blocks, and those total 4 blocks are having total 14 units. You are fully aware about what a block and unit means in our educational system, specifically in IGNOU online learning or IGNOU ODL system. So the first block is having 4 units, and then second block talks about the different frameworks of the J2E, and then block 3 talks about the Spring Boot and Hibernate, that is the backend framework. We will discuss about it a little bit in this session, and then obviously when we will be discussing about these things in coming sessions or in some coming video lectures, then you will be in position to learn more about it. Otherwise, material in itself is having a very pointed explanation of each and everything. If you follow the course material rigorously, and if you try to implement the exercises given in the course material, you will learn a lot, and you will be in position to develop the simple application using the concepts which we have discussed in the course material itself. And the final block is web security. So if we talk about block 1, unit 1, so this particular unit is dedicated to providing you the basic understanding about what is web server, what is web container, what the basic structure of the J2E, and then we have introduced about the one important concept or one important philosophy which is used for development of the enterprise applications, or some ready-made solution you can say, that is the design pattern. So we have discussed about some commonly used design pattern in this particular course. Those design patterns are MVC design pattern, that is used extensively for application development or web application development, repository design pattern, then singleton, then factory design pattern. These design patterns are explained in this particular unit, and then you are introduced about how to use jar and var file for the final application deployment. Unit 2 discuss about the servlet. So this is the unit which is totally dedicated to the servlet programming. So in this you will learn about the HTTP protocol, and then you will learn about the HTTP methods, then you will learn about the servlet architecture, servlet life cycle, then how you can create the servlet, that you will learn in this particular unit. And in unit 3 you will learn about session management. Session management is one of the key feature which is required to be taken care of, which is required to be implemented when you are developing enterprise application using the web component or web application which is catering to the complex system solution, then that particular you will learn, and in addition to that you will also learn how actually database connectivity is done with the help of servlet programming. And then next unit talk about JSP. In this unit you will learn the basic concepts of the JSP. Along with that you will be introduced about the JSTL also, that is the template tag library of the JSP, then exceptions handling, and then database connectivity using JSP is explained in this particular unit. Then comes the second block, and this second block is totally dedicated to J2E frameworks. In this we discuss about Struts framework, which is very popular and used by the industry for development of the large and complex application. And the first unit of this block discuss about what is Struts framework, and then it discuss about the Spring Boot and MVC also, that how you will use Spring Boot and how you will use Spring MVC. Basically Spring Boot and Spring MVC are the part of the Spring framework, or you can say they are the component of the Spring framework. Then it introduced about the Hibernate and Java Persistent API. So basically this particular unit introduced you about the details which you will be learning in this block as well as in next block. So block 2 and 3 is totally dedicated to Spring Hibernate, Spring Boot, and then Spring MVC, and then obviously related different components like Java Persistent API. You will be introduced about different annotations of different components. So this overall introduction about the learning of the things will be done in this particular unit. And then unit 6 discuss about Struts, Hibernate, and Spring. So while doing the study you may feel that few concepts are repetitive in nature from unit 5 to 6, but in 5 the basic concepts are explained and some features are introduced, and in 6 details about those things are explained there. So a minor repetition is for the purpose of proper connectivity of the concept and the component which we are discussing in these unit are given there. So in this unit you will be learning about the features of the struts, then you will be learning about the Spring Boot and Spring MVC feature. You will be learning how to use Hibernate with JPA, and then a comparison about these frameworks is given. Then you are introduced about the Maven, and then towards the end of this unit you are guided to develop one small application using the concept what you have learned in this unit. The unit number 7 is dedicated to Spring MVC. As I mentioned, Spring MVC is part of Spring framework. It is used for the development of the web applications. So in this unit you will learn how to set up the development environment using this Spring MVC. Then you will learn how to write a simple project using Spring MVC. And then IOC and dependency injection concepts are explained, and how these concepts can be used or explained with the help of the small code written in the material. Then as you know, MVC is model, view, and controller. So how to create controllers and views are explained, and subsequently request parameter and request mapping concept is explained, how you will do that particular while you are developing your program. And then form tags and form binding is discussed, and subsequently a small discussion about the form validation is there in this course that will basically prepare you to develop the application using the concept of proper validation of the things, so that security aspects or some kind of avoidance of the error and other thing you can do with the help of form validation. And then unit 8 discuss about the Spring MVC with Bootstrap and CSS. So in this unit you will basically learn a full-fledged CRUD application. That is, CRUD means create, read, update and delete. Basically these are the 4 basic operations which are used for development of the any web application. So CRUD application is explained in this, and here in this unit you will learn a full-fledged development of one web application using the concepts whatever you have learned so far. Then unit 9 discuss about the Spring Boot, and Spring Boot basically used for the backend purpose. It is known as backend component or backend framework for the development of the web application. So how you can develop this particular web application with using this concept of the Spring Boot, that is explained there, and step by step explanation of how different smaller components can be used and incorporated in the web application development using Spring Boot is explained in this unit with the help of example programs. So as I'm continuously repeating with you that this particular course is more application oriented course. So in this course you will find very extensive programming is there in the learning material, as well as it is the basic requirement of this course that you should be more inclined towards writing code, writing application program to check the concept which you have learned. Then only it will be fruitful learning. Otherwise, just by reading the content, you are not going to gain anything in this particular course. Then next unit talk about one very important topic, that is Hibernate, that is also known as ORM, object relation mapping, that is called. So it talks about that how actually your plain Java object, that is known as POJO, plain Java object or simple Java classes can be mapped into database. That is one of the challenging tasks, and that is one of the very important tasks when you are writing enterprise web application using, for that matter, any programming language, to deal with the implementation part as well as to deal with the backend part. That is how actually you are mapping your whole design into database tables, and then you are managing the things or logically implementing or writing the control code to perform the operation on that database table or your actual model which you are having in your system and that you are going to store in your database. So that you will learn, and in this Hibernate you will learn here. Along with that you will learn about the annotations which are used in the Hibernate. Then you will learn about the REST API, and then you will learn that how to create CRUD application using Hibernate. So in that, how actually you are going to use plain Java code to map into database table, that aspect you will learn in this particular unit, and that will be one of the very exciting concept to learn about, and obviously that will be used extensively whenever you will be developing web application using the concept of Java programming or Java programming framework. Then again unit 11 is an extension of unit 10, and in this more complex things related to creating a Spring Boot and Hibernate combination is explained, and how you can manage with the database related activities using Spring Boot as well as Hibernate is explained in this particular unit. Then comes the block number 4, and in block 4 we discuss about web security. As you know, if you are having any web application and it is not secure and it is not giving confidence to the client or to the user, then it is not going to be that popular, or it is not going to attract that much success. So it is very essential to take care of the security aspects since the beginning of the application design and development itself. So this particular block is having 3 units, and all these 3 units are application oriented units, and these units teach you, basically force you to learn about how actually you will be implementing the security aspect. So unit 12 talk about what is web security, then it talk about the JCA architecture, it introduce you about the secure socket extension concept of the Java, and it touch upon the different issues and challenges on the web security. It talks about the Spring security aspects, or what are the different security requirement in Spring if you are using you are using Spring framework for developing the application. Then it talk about the Java based configuration of the security aspect, and then creating some initializer classes for the purpose of the security implementation, and running the controller and view classes with the help of those security implementation is explained in this unit. And then unit 13 talk about the custom login, because whenever you are having web application, basically you go to a interface from where you try to interact with the user. So user first interact to a login page, from there user is permitted on the basis of its credential to access the different kind of services or resources available in your application. So custom login security is one of the very important, how you will create your custom login form, and then how you will use different type of configuration to make the login form so that you can provide the security aspect in the system, and then mapping those different components which are related to your security aspect from the custom logging form. And then in the last, if you have mapped that particular, mapping means sometimes keeping the things or information into table. So those all things you will learn, and then finally you will be testing the custom login form which you will create in this particular unit. And obviously once you are logging into a system, so whenever you are logging out from the system, what kind of requirements are there, that is also discussed. So here you can see that the total flow of the design of this particular course is in such a way that it will teach you from very basic or ABCD of the concept to very complex implementation of the concept. And towards the end, in the unit number 14, we have discussed about the role based login. It means that different role of the different user can be defined, and how user access can be managed or restricted on the basis of the role of the different user who are using that particular application. So in totality, if we see this particular course, it is a complete package for the application development, and I encourage you, and I hope that you will be giving sufficient time to this course. And even if you are giving some more time and you are stealing some more time from your other activities and giving to this course, definitely I am sure that you will enjoy learning this particular course, and you will gain a lot from this particular course, because it is a application oriented course, and it is having lot many concepts which are explained to you in the form of programming code, not only concept and then associated programming code is given. So you will find that this course is a very unique type of course, because this course in itself assures you lot many things when you go for your career in the area of application development. So in summary, we can say in this session we have discussed about the web technology course, Servlet JSP, then JDBC, MVC, then we have discussed about different framework which we will be learning in this particular course. And finally, the last block of this course, which talks about the web security, that we have discussed and introduced you about this particular course. And once again, before I conclude this session and bind up this session, I request you to do the implementation, actual writing of the code and execution of the code, rather than just reading the content. Then only you will get actual benefit of this course. So With this, I conclude this session here. Thank you for joining me in this session.
We wear clothes on a daily basis. But have we ever wondered, where do our clothes come from? Who makes our clothing? And who are the people and the process responsible for the whole manufacturing of our clothing? If you want to know more about this, Indira Gandhi National Open University from the School of Continuing Education has launched a program which is Certificate in Apparel Merchandising. There are many benefits after doing this program. You can become a designer in various fields. It can be fashion designer, apparel designer, costume designer, or even a textile designer. One can also work as a fashion consultant. Research and development is another field which one can take up after doing this certificate course. Going into academics is another perk after doing this program. Getting into fashion houses or fashion studios as an intern is also a very good option post doing the certificate in apparel merchandising. The basic eligibility of the program is 10+2. The duration of the program is 6 months to 2 years. The program is also available for both the admission cycles, which is July and January. The exams are conducted twice a year, in June and December. So what are you waiting for? Join this program and get an enriching knowledge in the field of apparel merchandising. And to do so, you can log on to the official website of the university, www.ignou.ac.in.
Hello learner, welcome you in this particular session. I am Dr. MP Misra, Faculty School of Computer and Information Sciences, IGNOU. In this session, I am with you on a very exciting topic on application development. The topic of this session is Enterprise Application Development and Design Pattern. This particular topic belongs to course MCS 220, that is Web Technologies course. In this session, we will discuss about what actually enterprise application is, what enterprise web application we can think about, and what are the different tools and technologies which are used for development of the enterprise applications. And then we will discuss about what actually design pattern is, and then I will introduce in this session about two very commonly used design patterns for the application development. So let us start our discussion. If we talk about enterprise application, then what comes in your mind? As enterprise term is associated with application. So enterprise may be a specific big business organization, maybe a very big social organization, or maybe a very big government organization or government system or government department which is working towards predefined specific goals. But whenever we say enterprise, we talk about the volume, we talk about the complexity, and we talk about the scale. It means something which is voluminous, which is large in size, which is catering to a large population. And obviously, if all these things are there, the system which you will be developing for serving that particular enterprise will be a complex system. So whenever we talk about any complex system, it means it is having its own different components. There are different kind of maybe department, divisions, maybe sections, subsections, maybe different layers in the system. Then how synchronously those different layers of the system are working with each other, those all things you have to take care. Then only you can develop enterprise application, and an enterprise application obviously will be facilitating to perform the different activities of an enterprise. This particular system generally try to visualize, manipulate, and store a large amount of complex data of a complex system, and by doing so it provide overall efficiency to the system, and your system become more efficient and effective. And obviously, if you are a business system, it will provide more profitability to you when you are using a proper enterprise system. Generally, enterprise application or enterprise system can be thought of in 4 different areas. That may be a proper enterprise, or maybe some kind of support system you are having, in which you are having supply chain management. You are having some kind of system in which you are dealing with the customers, and you are in customer relationship management system. And above all, one more system that comes is the knowledge management system. So these are the 4 major enterprise application areas in which application systems are developed. And there may be many common example you can see and you can visualize. Here you can ask few questions also, that how I can identify whether one specific system which I am using for the purpose of, let us say, some social networking, whether that particular social networking site, Facebook, if I name specifically, is an enterprise system or not. Then obviously it is towards enterprise system, but there are not many more things which are systematically managed, so you cannot say it is a complete enterprise system, because things are not well controlled in that, and many things are in open domain, and that can be countered as a not having features of enterprise system. But on other hand, if you talk about some website which is online shopping site, then obviously that you can consider as a enterprise system, because in that you are looking for the customer relationship management also, you are looking for the sales also, you are looking for the inventory also, you are looking supply chain management. So many more different components associated with that whole complex system is there, so you can see that particular system as a enterprise system. Similarly, many more banking applications we use for the purpose of online banking system, so that also can be seen as a enterprise system. Or maybe you are going for the railway reservation system, that particular is a system which is managing the online reservation of the railway tickets and many more facilities, so that can be seen as an enterprise system. And there may be some enterprise systems are developed for the purpose of internal management of one organization. If some organization, let us say, is offering institution, let us say offering online education, and that particular online education system is catering to many activities from admission to examination to certification, then obviously you can look this particular system as a enterprise system. You can see the employee management system, in which the payroll management and the leave management and many more facility or other associated services management, that may include the LTC services, or that may include the services related to medical facility and others. If that particular system is there, that also can be seen as an enterprise system. So it's all depend on the nature of the system, what that particular system is doing. That particular system will be categorized as an enterprise system or not as an enterprise system. And if further we move, if some enterprise system is web based, it means you can use some web browser and you can access the services of that particular enterprise system, then obviously that will be web based enterprise system. But it is not necessary to be one enterprise system a web based system only. It can be a system which is working on the specific closed group, or it may be some system is working on a closed network area and it is not web based. So that system, if a system is for the internal consumption of one organization, obviously that may not go for the web based type of system. And if some system is catering to the employees or to the division or to the departments which are scattered and which can be served better by providing the web based interface, then obviously that system will be a web based system. So it's all depend on the requirement of that particular specific system, that how actually that system will be serving better to the organizational need. On the basis of that, you can think about that system to be web based or non web based. And if we think about how actually such a large complex system can be developed, then as a student or as a computer science professional, growing professional, we can think about different tools and technologies which can help us to develop that particular application. And if we know those tools and technologies, then obviously we will be knowing the feature of the scalability, reliability and other associated aspect of that particular tools and technology, whether that can cater to the load of that particular specific system or not. So on the basis of that, many things you have to consider as a tools and technology to develop the web application or enterprise application, that may cover some framework which is used for the purpose of development. So basically these frameworks provides you some ready-made component. Inside that you can sometime customize something, or sometime you can add something new to make your own system. So something ready-made is available to you, and on that you have to build the system. And in addition to that, some basic tool obviously you need for the application development, that includes assembler, compiler or some programming languages. Maybe some editor you will need, or some IDEs, integrated development environments. And then in addition to writing the programming concepts and other things, you need some kind of beautification or some kind of formatting or some kind of interconnection between two components. For that you use some kind of scripting language. And even these scripting language sometimes used for the purpose of validation and other things also. Gradually either you will learn or you are already aware about the utilization of scripting languages. Learning about the programming language is one of the key requirement of the application development. So programming languages which can be used for the development of the enterprise application, that to be considered. Then obviously next is the how you actually store the actual data of your system, that is the database requirement of the system, which database you will be using and what are the pros and cons of using that particular database, what is the volume of the data which you are expecting in your application, considering all those things on the basis of that. And even sometimes costing of the software system also makes a major impact on the choice and decision of the software and application tools. So what database system you will be using, that you will consider. And then web server, that basically is a combination of some hardware and software component on which you deploy your system and you run your system. So web server provide you a kind of environment under which you can put your applications and program, and it provide the actual condition or actual learning components or actual running components of the system. On that particular, you can run your application and programs. And further or next, you may think about the database server which you will be using for the purpose of development of the application. And in addition to that, if I don't mention about the cloud here, our discussion will be partial. It will not complete, because now everywhere we are listening about that these major application or large application or mega applications are deployed on the cloud services or cloud platforms. So cloud can be think as an additional tool or component or software, hardware for implementation of the system or deployment of the system or taking some services from the cloud, because cloud not only provide software support, it provide hardware support, it provide specific services also. So cloud cannot be neglected whenever we are discussing about the large enterprise application development. So cloud should be in our mind, and whenever we need some kind of scalability of the system, we can explore possibility of using the cloud services or cloud systems for the purpose of different activities. For example, if you are looking for a web server, you can take the web server on the cloud. If you are looking for the deployment of your application on the database server, you can take your database server on the cloud. So that is obviously not domain of our discussion here, but here I want to touch upon that cloud is one of the very important thing that will go together whenever you are discussing or learning about the large enterprise application development. Java and J2E, as you know, Java is very robust and very popular technology which is used for the application development because of its many features. And J2E platform provide you running environment for developing the large application. And obviously multi-tier, basically we talk about minimum 3-tier application whenever we are discussing about MVC model view controller and internet applications. So web server, let me have a look what actually a web server is. Web server is a software that handle HTTP request and response to deliver web pages or web content to the client. So basically web server takes your request and respond you on the basis of your request. Obviously that specific request processing service is there, it is deployed, then only it can. Web browser is used for the running of the web services. HTTP is the specifically designed protocol for handling the request response in the web application. So to successfully execute web application, the number of server-side technologies which basically include the JSP, servlet, and sometimes PHP. PHP obviously is not part of our learning in this particular course, but servlet and JSP, which is a server-side programming, and their libraries. As I have discussed in one of my video that JSTL you will be learning in this course, so JSTL libraries you can use, and obviously some frameworks you can use for the purpose of development, and some common example of service web server you can take Tomcat, WebLogic, JBoss. These are some commonly used web server for application development when we are talking about the Java technology. Web container is a web server component that handles servlet, JSP files, and other web tier components also in addition to it. Web container is also called a servlet container or servlet engine. It means that it provides the runtime environment for your web application, so you need a web container for deploying and running the web application which you have developed using Servlet and JSP technologies. So some most common web containers are Glassfish, Eclipse, JBoss, Tomcat, WebSphere, WebLogic, and many more you will find, but these are the commonly used containers and web servers which you can use. Now, when we talk about enterprise application, we have to develop one enterprise application, then one thing come in our mind that we have to design all the things in our application from scratch, or we have to think about some ready-made solutions which are already there, and we can use that particular solution and we can combine those solutions, and finally we can get a application for my requirement. So design pattern basically gives you a ready-made explanation or solution or template for commonly occurring problem in the programming languages. So these are the basically already developed solution or already developed design for the specific solution of a specific problem. That particular solution you can use in your problem if or in your development of the application when you are having those specific problem as a part of your whole solution process. It means if in your system development you are having some component for which some design pattern is already existing, so you can use that particular design pattern, you can implement that particular design pattern by writing your specific code, and then finally you can very quickly reach to the solution of your problem, or you can develop the system quickly if you are using already existing solution in the system. Design patterns are the best solution, tested solution that are available and that can speed up your whole development process. So you can think about design pattern as a it is a kind of presenting abstract solution to some specific problem, or it is having a properly defined structure of the solution, and it can be used for the development of the system. And basically your design pattern may consist of different dependencies, structures, interactions between two components, and conversation. Basically it provides detailed design experience of that specific problem for which that design pattern exists. And these design patterns are developed by the experienced developers, and it is already tested, verified, and it is being used extensively by the industry developer for the purpose of development of their application, so that you can choose and you can easily use in your application development. So one very popular terminology which comes as GOF, that is Gang of 4 design pattern, and this particularly divided into 3 basic categories, that is the creational design pattern, structural design pattern, and behavioral design pattern. And these different design pattern categories are having different design patterns in that particular category. More detail you can access in the study material. In that we have discussed about different design patterns in detail. And in addition to this GOF design pattern, there are many other design patterns also which require for the specific design purposes. For example, maybe the intercepting filter or some kind of security management of some application, some kind of repository management of some application. So those all different design patterns are used for the purpose of different application development. One very commonly used design pattern for the application development, that is web application development, is MVC. Basically it divides whole application design into 3 parts or 3 layers. One is view, that is a kind of interaction to the user or to the client, that is known as view. And then comes the controller. Controller basically is a part which works between view and model, and model is the actual database implementation of your whole logic, and controller is the controlling logic, which is controlling the request received from the view, and then it is being sent to the model to retrieve some data, and again data is being processed by the controller and result is being given to the view. So model view controller is a very well established design pattern, and in this particular course you will be learning about the Spring MVC framework. In that you will be extensively using the MVC concept, and you will be learning how actually you can clearly divide the activity of your whole system in 3 different categories, and these 3 categories are working for 3 different purposes. So this pattern is extensively used for the enterprise web application. These patterns require each of these layers to act independently. This is the advantage of this design pattern, because these 3 layers are working independently and they are communicating with each other for the purpose of performing certain operation, as you can see in the diagram. Now very quickly let us see one more design pattern, that is singleton design pattern. It is very simple design pattern, but it is very commonly used for those applications where you need a single object being represented at different places, and whenever some operation is performed on that particular object, that is reflecting to other places where that particular object is present also. So this particular design pattern basically provide a constructor which is private, and a method is defined public static that return the instance of that particular class. Let us see this particular design pattern implementation with the help of the program code here. Here you can see on the screen a class is defined, and in this class a private static variable is defined, and then a private constructor is defined, and in this constructor we are having a string that is initialized here, and then you are having a public static method that is get instance. Here you are just creating one instance of the class, and then you are returning that particular instance. And in actual implementation, if you see, these methods are used for the purpose of creating the object. Here 2 objects are created, I and j. These 2 objects are instance of the singleton class, and as I mentioned that whenever you are creating object, only one object is created and copy of that object is provided to different references. And here for checking that particular, we are using whether these 2 objects are the same or not. So for that checking we are using the heap code value of these 2 objects. If heap code value of these 2 objects are same, it means these 2 objects are the same and stored in the same memory location. Actually that is the single object, but that object is being referred by the different references. Now if you run this particular program, you will get this output. Here you can see the hash code is same for these 2 objects x and y, and so here you can say these 2 objects are having the same hash code. It means it is the same object or single object being referred by more than one references. So by that mechanism you are in position to implement the singleton design pattern, and basically in network application or many other security application this singleton is used. In summary, we can say in this particular session we have discussed about the enterprise application, web application, then we have discussed about tools and technologies which are used for application of the application development, and then we touch upon the design pattern, and we have very briefly discussed about MVC design pattern and singleton design pattern. So with this I conclude this session here. Thank you for being with me in this session.
learners, welcome to IGNOU. You're going to lead with a difference. So how do you lead with the difference? The unique attributes of the university system through which you're going to go for the management program or any other program is the multiple entry and exit. It provides flexible learning where a learner can learn at its own will and at its own pace. It offers multimodal approaches like we have MBA, the normal through the distance learning mode and through online mode. So it has a multimodal approach. It has face-to-face counseling. It offers web counseling also. It provides continuous evaluation to enhance the skills of the learners through assignments, and it provides the opportunity for the learners to appear for the exams twice a year through term end examination system. It gives interactive satellite-aided communication network through teleconferencing, and it also gives the radio counseling also. When we talk about School of Management Studies, it was the first school and it had the pioneer program of diploma in management. Till date, it has been offering around 14 programs in management and 13 programs in commerce disciplines. The school has international presence as well, as it provides the programs in specific Asian and African countries across the globe. Now talking about Master of Business Administration. What are the objectives? What are the learning objectives of this Master of Business Administration? What are the unique features of this Master of Business Administration which IGNOU is offering? First of all, it revitalizes and accelerates the pace of your professional development. And how can it do it? Through this program, which is one of its kind and it has been built through the insights and knowledge of faculty and experts. The content aids in new ways of thinking. It provides exciting new opportunities, new approaches of learning. It has contemporary courses ranging from business communications to human resource management, marketing management, financial management, operations management, all sorts of courses which are required in the present times for the industry, and as per the demands of the industry, all the courses have been included in this particular program. It is a uniquely designed program for both the fresh graduates as well as the working professionals, and it is offered pan-India and also in select countries internationally. Let us see the program at a glance. The program name is MBA, and the eligibility criteria for this program is bachelor's degree, minimum of 3 years duration with at least 50% marks and 45% marks in case of the reserved category. The duration of the program is minimum 2 years and maximum 4 years, and the program fee per semester is 15,500. The structure of the program, the total credits of the program, the total credits are 116 because there is one project course which is equivalent to 2 courses. So it comes out to be 29 courses. Otherwise, technically it is 28 courses. So there are core courses, there are specializations.
जिसके होने से जीवन है, जिसकी कोमलता का नाम लेते ही हृदय सिहर सा उठता है, जिसके बाल मन का आज हम जिसकी हम चर्चा करेंगे, जिसका हम वर्णन करेंगे, वो है जैनेंद्र की कहानी पाजेब। बच्चे का जो मन का जो विज्ञान होता है वह कैसा होता है, किस तरीके से उसके नन्हे से मन के जो तंतु होते हैं वो किस तरीके से प्रफुल्लित होते हैं और कैसे एक कड़ी से दूसरी कड़ी तक जो है वो पूरे समाज को प्रभावित करते हैं। ऐसी ही कहानी है जैनेंद्र की कहानी पाजेब। जी हाँ, जैसे ही हमने पाजेब का नाम लिया तो आपके जेहन में एक चित्र सा खिंचा होगा, और वो चित्र कैसा है? गहनों का। गहने या आभूषण किसे कहते हैं? यानी कि जब श्रृंगार की जब बात आती है और जब इसकी गहरी अवधारणा की हम बात करेंगे तो गहनों और आभूषणों का जो संबंध है वह पुरुषों की बजाय महिलाओं से बहुत ज़्यादा है। यानी कि इस कहानी की जब इसे पढ़ना शुरू करेंगे तो इसमें क्या है कि एक बच्ची है, मुन्नी। जी हाँ, मुन्नी एक छोटी सी बच्ची है जिसकी बुआ आती है। और हमारे भारतीय समाज में जब कोई रिश्तेदार आता है, बुआ, मौसी, चाची या फिर ताई, कोई दूर से जब आता है हमारे घर तो देखते हैं कि कुछ सौगात लेके आता है। सामान्यतः भारतीय समाज में जो सौगात की जो चीज़ें होती हैं उसमें मिठाई, फल वगैरह होती हैं, लेकिन बुआ का एक रिश्ता जो है वो बहुत ही खूबसूरत रिश्ता होता है, जिसमें बुआ और भतीजी के रिश्ते की इस कहानी में एक वर्णन किया है। साथ ही भतीजी के अलावा भतीजा भी है, मुन्नी और आशुतोष, जिसमें आशुतोष थोड़ा बड़ा है और मुन्नी थोड़ी सी छोटी है। और जैसे ही उसकी बुआ आती है, बुआ आकर कहती है कि मुन्नी जो है कितनी सुंदर हो तुम, और कितनी प्यारी प्यारी जब तुम छम छम करती हुई चलोगी और जब तुम्हारे पैरों में पायल होगी तो कितनी सुंदर लगेगी मेरी नन्ही सी परी पे। और उसके बाद जो है जब बुआ जो आती है और वो जो है पाजेब जो है मुन्नी के पैरों में पहना देती है। छम छम करती हुई मुन्नी पूरे घर में शोर मचाती है, इधर उधर घूमती है, और जो है हाँ, बच्चों में एक खास जो मनोभाव होता है वह क्या होता है कि वह ईर्ष्या का, जिसे हम भाव कहेंगे। छोटे से जो बच्चे हैं, हम सामान्यतः देखते हैं कि जो हमारे घरों में बच्चे हैं उनका कोई ना कोई एक छोटा सा क्या कहेंगे उसे, कंपटीटर होता है। उसमें क्या है कि जब उससे तुलना करते हैं कि वो देखो ऐसे करता है, वो देखो ऐसे करता है, उसके पास ये चीज़ें हैं। इसी तरह का जो है मनु भंडारी का उपन्यास है आपका बंटी उपन्यास और पाजेब कहानी में के जो नन्हे जो पात्र हैं, उसी जो है उन पात्रों की अगर हम तुलना करें तो खिलौनों को लेकर जो बच्चों का जो मनोभाव है वो मनु भंडारी ने भी दिखाया है कि एक बार क्या है कि बंटी जो है अपने खिलौनों से खेल रहा है। खिलौनों से खेलते खेलते क्या है कि सामने वाले पूछते हैं तुम्हारी मम्मा अकेली रहती है क्या? भारतीय समाज की जो विडंबना है वह जो है कहानियों के माध्यम से जो है कहानीकार दिखाते हैं। इसी तरीके की विडंबना पाजेब कहानी में भी है। और वो बंटी क्या कहता है कि मेरे पास इतना बड़ा हवाई जहाज है, ये देखिए, शी शी ऐसे उड़ रहा है, ऐसे चल रहा है, ऐसे दौड़ रहा है, ऐसे जा रहा है। और उसी दौरान जो है कहते कि हाँ हाँ, खिलौना तो तुम्हारा ठीक है, चलो तुम मुझे अपना खिलौना एक बार खेलने के लिए दे दो और मैं जो है वो तुम्हें जो है अपने खिलौने में दे दूँगा। तो कहता है कि लेकिन जब जैसे ही बंटी को कहता है कि तुम्हारी माँ अकेली रहती है तो बच्चे के को जो है नाजुक मन पर जो है बहुत गहरा प्रभाव पड़ता है। कैसे हम बच्चों के माध्यम से जो है एक दूसरे पर कटाक्ष करते हैं, कैसे बच्चों को जरिया बना के जो है सामने जो है बच्चे रहते हैं लेकिन बात का संदर्भ कुछ अलग से होता है। इसी तरीके का जो कहानी है, एक कहानी में अगर हम बाल मनोविज्ञान की ही बात हम करने जा रहे हैं तो प्रेमचंद की कहानी है जो है एक कहानी है। उस कहानी में क्या है, ईदगाह जो कहानी की अगर हम चर्चा करें तो उस कहानी में क्या है, एक छोटा सा बच्चा है, जैसे ही वो बाजार में मेले में जाता है देखता है कि ढेर सारे खिलौने हैं, ऐसे खिलौने जिसको जो है लेने के लिए बच्चे का मन लालायित हो उठता है। बाल मन में जो है कोमल भावनाएं होती हैं, उनका एक अपना संसार होता है जिसमें ढेर सारे खिलौने होते हैं। और इसी का वर्णन जो है जैनेंद्र ने किया है अपनी कहानी में कि बच्चा कैसे सोचता है, क्यों उसकी दुनिया खिलौनों की दुनिया होती है। यहाँ पे एक जैविक अंतर भी जैनेंद्र ने दिखाया है कि लड़कियों की और लड़कों में जो जैविक जो अंतर है, लड़के क्या लेते हैं, लड़कियां और लड़के जो खिलौनों की जब बात आती है, लड़कों के पास क्या होते, गन होती हैं जिससे वो ऐसे 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 उड़ाते हैं और वो आवाज़ निकालते हैं साथ साथ में। उसी प्रकार से जो है क्या है, एरोप्लेन्स उसमें होते हैं कि जहाज उड़ा रहे हैं, गाड़ियाँ चला रहे हैं और उसके बाद जो है गन चला रहे हैं, उसके बाद झगड़ा मार धाड़, ये सारी चीज़ें बच्चे जो है लड़कों के खिलौनों में होती हैं। तो मुन्नी की जो बुआ है वो क्या कहती है, जैसे ही आशुतोष कहता अच्छा मुन्नी के लिए आप पाजेब लेके आओगे और मेरे लिए, तो कहती हाँ तुम्हारे लिए भी मैं लेके आऊँगी, लेकिन तुम्हारे जन्मदिन पर जो है क्या है, तुम्हारी साइकिल लेके आऊँगी। तो उसको थोड़ी तसल्ली होती है कि हाँ बुआ मेरे लिए जो है साइकिल भी लेके आएगी। और वो जो है वो फिर मग्न हो जाता है, कोई बात नहीं अगर मुन्नी की पाजेब आ गई तो मेरे लिए भी जो है वो साइकिल आएगी। और वो जो है क्या है, खेलने लग जाता है। लेकिन जैसे जैसे कहानी आगे बढ़ती है, जैसे जैसे परत दर परत जो है जैनेंद्र दिखा रहे हैं बच्चे का बाल मनोविज्ञान, कि जैसे जैसे कहानी आगे बढ़ती है उसमें क्या है कि पाजेब की छनछनाहट की जो बात हो रही है, वो बच्ची खेल रही है और एकदम से एक पाजेब गायब हो जाती है। बच्ची है, कहीं इधर उधर गिरा दिया होगा पाजेब को, तो क्या है कि इधर उधर ढूंढा जाता है, इधर उधर घूमा जाता है, कहाँ है पाजेब, कहाँ है पाजेब। बात बच्चे के जो है उपहार की नहीं होती है। एक बात फिर जाके क्या होती, गहने पे जाके चली जाती है। गहनों के प्रति जो है वो लगाव जो है वो बाल मन से ही उसके मन में जो है उत्पन्न कर दिया जाता है। जो है इसमें जो पाजेब की जब बात हो रही है तो ये बात सिर्फ एक उपहार की बात नहीं हो रही है, यहाँ पे एक जो है एक आभूषण की बात हो रही है। आभूषण भारतीय मध्य वर्गीय समाज में बड़ी विशेष अहमियत रखता है। अगर आपने प्रेमचंद का जो है गबन उपन्यास अगर आपने पढ़ा हो तो उस उपन्यास में आप देखिए कि गबन की जो नायिका है जालपा, पूरा जो उपन्यास है किस पे जो है निर्भर जो है उसको जो लक्ष्य करके लिखा गया है, वो लिखा गया है गहने को, उपहार को, कि जो है वो जो है एक हार है जिसके ऊपर जो है जो जालपा जो लेना चाहती है, बाद में पता चलता है कि किस तरीके से जो है उस गहनों के प्रति प्रेम के कारण जो है वो अंतिम समय में जब पता चलता है कि वो जो है जो गहने होते हैं वो असली नहीं है। और इसके ऊपर बहुत सी अगर आप देखोगे तो बहुत सी कहानियाँ जो हैं हिंदी साहित्य के इतिहास में, मराठी में बहुत सी जो है उपन्यासकारों ने उपन्यासों के बहुत से पात्रों के माध्यम से भी गहनों के प्रति भारतीय जो समाज है उसमें प्रेम को दिखाया गया है। तो ये जो पाजेब की जो कहानी है इसमें क्या होता है कि उसके बाद जो है पाजेब गायब हो जाती है। गायब होने का मतलब क्या है कि आभूषण गायब हो गया। आभूषण का गायब होना मतलब चोरी। जी हाँ, उसके बाद शुरू होता है कहानी में दूसरा दौर और बात आती है कि पाजेब चोरी हो गई है। पाजेब चोरी हो गई, किसने की होगी? सबसे पहले चोरी का शक घर में किस पे जाता है? अगर आप नौकर रखते हैं तो सबसे पहले नौकर, और शक जाता है बंसी पे कि बंसी ने तो नहीं चुराई। बंसी को फिर जो है बंसी से बात की जाती है, बड़ी ही अलग अलग तरीक़ों से घर के अलग अलग मेंबर बंसी से बात करते हैं कि ये बंसी तुमने तो नहीं ली। बंसी किसी ना किसी तरीके से जो है विश्वास दिलाता है कि नहीं मालकिन, नहीं मालिक, मैंने जो है चोरी नहीं की है। फिर बंसी के पीछे का उदाहरण देखा जाता है कि बंसी ने इससे पहले तो कोई चोरी नहीं की है, हाँ बंसी ने तो नहीं, इससे पहले तो नहीं हुई है। फिर उसके पूरे चरित्र का मूल्यांकन किया जाता है। यही तो होता है जब किसी के घर में चोरी होती है, कुछ भी अहित होता है, कुछ भी घटता है, तो क्या है, घटना जब घटती है तो सबको जो है सबका जो चरित्र है शुरू से लेकर आखिरी तक उसका मूल्यांकन किया जाता है और तब जाके विश्वास किया जाता है कि कौन इंसान क्या काम कर सकता है। और उसी विश्वास की जो है बुनियाद पर जो है बंसी से हटकर शक जाता है आशुतोष पे, यानी कि छोटे भाई पे, जो भाई जो था, बच्चा जो था छोटा, उसके ऊपर जो है शक जाता है। और फिर क्या कहा जाता है, आशुतोष से कहा जाता है तुमने लिया, तुमने ली पाजेब? कहता नहीं नहीं मम्मी मैंने नहीं ली। पापा धमकाते हैं, पाजेब की जो है पूरी तरीके से जो है पूरा जो है घर में जो है माहौल जो है एकदम से जो है कस में गुजरने लगता है। और उसके बाद जो है जैसे तैसे करके जो है आशुतोष को जो है बार बार उसकी माँ जो है फिर उगलवाती है। बच्चे को जब हम कहते हैं तुमने किया तुमने किया तुमने किया, तो बच्चे का जो बाल मनोविज्ञान है, जनेंद्र जो है वो दिखा रहे हैं कहानी के माध्यम से कि बच्चा स्वीकार कर लेता है, हाँ मैंने पाजेब ली, यानी कि उसने स्वीकार कर ली कि हाँ मैंने पाजेब ले ली। और पाजेब लेने के बाद कहता अच्छा तुमने पाजेब ली, तो ये बताओ बेटा कि पाजेब तुमने किसको दी। तो बच्चा सोचता है कि मैं किसका नाम लूं, और वो क्या कहता है कि वो अपने दोस्त साथ खेलने वाले छुन्नू का नाम ले देता है कि मैंने पाजेब छुन्नू को दे दी। और फिर बात जाती है चुन्नू तक। उसे ये नहीं पता था कि चुन्नू से भी पूछताछ की जाएगी। अपना पल्ला झाड़ने के लिए उसने चुन्नू पे बात डाल दी। यही तो हम करते हैं, जब अपने पे बात आती है और अपनी जो गलती होती है तो उसमें क्या करते हैं हम कि हम वो बात फिर दूसरे पर आसानी से डाल देते हैं। और पाजेब कहानी का जो सिलसिला है वो आगे बढ़ता है, और आगे बढ़ता है तो बात छुन्नू पे जाती है। और छुन्नू क्या कहता है फिर, छुन्नू की जो माँ है और जो इधर जो है आशुतोष की जो माँ है, वो क्या कहती है कि तुम्हारे बच्चे ने चोरी की, और जो है पाजेब हमारी पाजेब है कहाँ, हमारी पाजेब दो। तो कहती है कि हमारे बच्चे ने चोरी नहीं की, हमारे बच्चे ने पाजेब नहीं ली। तो क्या यानी कि दो महिलाओं का, ग्रामीण महिलाओं का दो का भयंकर झगड़ा होता है। हमारे बच्चों को चोर बना दिया, और फिर जो सामान्यतः जो होता है सिलसिला शुरू होता है सो होता है और उसमें फिर बात लड़ाई झगड़े तक पहुंच जाती है। मध्यम वर्गीय जो मानसिकता है उसमें हम यही तो करते हैं। और जो है सामान्यतः जो है अगर हम देखते हैं तो सामान्यतः ये घटनाएं हमारे समाज में आम घटनाएं हैं। और उसके बाद जो है छुन्नू की माँ छुन्नू की पिटाई करती है। आज भी जो है कोई बाहर से जब शिकायत लेके आता है बच्चे की, तो माँ बाप पहला काम क्या करते हैं, सबसे पहला जो काम होता है, या जो सबसे पहला काम जिस समय जनेंद्र लिख रहे थे उस समय के जो माता पिता थी उनकी यही मानसिकता थी कि सबसे पहले वो क्या करेंगे, अपने बच्चे की धुनाई, उसके बाद दूसरे बच्चे की बात सुनी जाती है। यानी कि आपका उल्हाना हमारे घर आ गया तो क्या है कि अब सबसे पहले बच्चे की जो है पिटाई जो है वो स्वाभाविक है। चुन्नू की खूब पिटाई होती है, ऊपर से चुन्नू की माँ बहुत रोती है, आए ये दिन आ गए, अब हमारे बच्चे चोर हो गए, हम चोर हो गए। और ऐसे कर करके जो है वो पूरा जो है मोहल्ला सिर पे उठा लेती है। और क्या है बार बार में बच्चे को मारने के बाद जो माँ की जो स्थिति होती है, हम सामान्यतः क्या करते हैं, माँ जब बच्चे को मारती है और उसके बाद वो देखना खुद रो पड़ती है, इसी को तो माँ कहते हैं। यही तो माँ का जो है मनोभाव है, जिसे शब्दों में ही नहीं बांधा जा सकता, जिसे जो है जिस मनोविज्ञान की हम बात कर रहे हैं कि मन का विज्ञान, कैसे व्यक्ति की संवेदनाएं, कैसे व्यक्ति की भावनाएं ही उसका जीवन होती है, जैनेंद्र ने इस कहानी के माध्यम से दिखाया है। उसके बाद क्या है, आशुतोष के पापा आते हैं ड्यूटी से, तो माँ बताती है कि मैंने जो है खोज खबर कर ली है। बच्चा क्या है कि बच्चे ने जो है आपके सामने इसने स्वीकार नहीं किया, आपने खूब डांटा, खूब लताड़ा, खूब धमकाया, लेकिन देखो माँ थी तो मैंने पता कर लिया, आशुतोष ने ही ली थी और उसने छुन्नू को दे दी। तो छुन्नू ने क्या किया, छुन्नू ने दुकान वाले को क्या है 5 आने में बेच दिया, और बेच के क्या किया, पतंग ले आए। अच्छा, यानी कि इतने छोटे बच्चे और पाजेब को चोर के इन्होंने क्या किया, इन्होंने अपने खेलने का जो है प्रबंध कर लिया। और कहानी जैसे 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 आगे बढ़ती जाती है तो दो परिवारों के बीच में झगड़ा होता है। कल तक को साथ खेलने वाले गहरे दोस्त जो हैं छुन्नू और आशुतोष एक दूसरे के दुश्मन बन जाते हैं और एक दूसरे को ऐसे देखते हैं, जिस तरीके से जैनेंद्र ने वर्णन किया है अपनी कहानी में, किस तरीके से देखते हैं जैसे बहुत बड़े दुश्मन हो। साथ साथ खेलने वाले दो बच्चे पल भर में जो है परिवार की जब साझेदारी होती है किसी भी घटना में, तो कैसे जो है बच्चे जो है वो प्रभावित होते हैं। और जिस तरीके से जो है उसके बाद जैसे जैसे झगड़ा चल रहा है तो वो मना कर देता है। ये सिर्फ शक की जो है बुनियाद पर कहा जाता है कि आशुतोष ने क्या किया होगा, पाजेब को लिया होगा, छुन्नू को दी होगी, छुन्नू ने दुकान वाले को जो है बेचा होगा और दुकान वाले से ये लोग पतंग लेके आए होंगे। ये जैसे 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 कोई घटना घटती है तो उसके ऊपर क्या है, सोचने की हमें आज़ादी है। आप बड़े हो, बड़े तरीके से सोचोगे, बड़ी बातें अपने हिसाब से आप सोचोगे, तो यही होता है। और फिर पेरेंट्स, एक माता पिता जो हैं वो क्या करते हैं, एक बना लेते हैं कि हाँ हाँ ऐसे ही हुआ होगा। लेकिन फिर भी चलो कोई बात नहीं, चलो मामला जैसा भी रहा हो, अब पतंग लाने के लिए तो दुकान पे ही गए होंगे, और दुकान पे गए होंगे तो क्या है, 5 आने जो है आशुतोष के पापा आशुतोष को देते हैं कि चलो तुम जाओ और दुकान वाले को ये पैसे दो और बेटा पाजे वापस ले आओ, तुम्हारी भी जलालत नहीं होगी, हमें भी दुकान वाले के पास नहीं जाना पड़ेगा। और क्या है कि 5 आने वापस लौटा दो, और 5 आने लौटा के तुम क्या करो, तुम अपनी पाजेब वापस ले आओ। ठीक है, तो क्या कहता है बच्चा कि मैं जाने से कतराता है। बच्चे को समझाया जाता है, समझो ठीक है अब तुम चले जाओ, तो जैसे तैसे करके, लेकिन वो मानता नहीं, मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, मैं नहीं जाऊंगा। तो पिताजी क्या करते हैं, उसे कोठरी में रोक देते हैं, बंद कर देते हैं कि अच्छा तू नहीं जाएगा, तेरी इतनी हिम्मत, और मारने से तो बेटर है कि इसको सजा दी जाए। हमें लगता है कि बच्चा सजा देने से जो है क्या है, सजा देने से वो सुधर जाएगा। क्या करें, मारे पीटे बिना तो बच्चे पलते ही नहीं है, बच्चे बड़े ही नहीं होते हैं, इनको तो है, इनकी पिटाई तो करनी पड़ती है। क्या करें, जिद्दी इतने हो गए हैं। समाज में जो है सामान्यतः हम जो है इसी तरीके से हम अपने बच्चों को पालते पोसते हैं, और ये तो सामान्य घटना है। उसके बाद जो है आशुतोष को रोक दिया जाता है। रोकने के बाद भी जो है उसके पिताजी देखते हैं कई घंटे के बाद कि वो बड़ा आराम से बैठा हुआ क्या कर रहा है, वो बड़ा आराम से सो रहा है। और जैसे ही वो देखते हैं कि ये सो रहा है, उन्हें और गुस्सा आता है, और गुस्सा आके कहता है कि अच्छा, मतलब कोई असर नहीं तुम्हारे ऊपर समझाने का, बताने का, और इतना हमें चीखने चिल्लाने का, ये क्या है। और उसके बाद क्या है, वो उसे बोलते हैं कि फटाफट से खड़े हो जाओ और जल्दी से जाके तुम जो है ये जो है दुकान वाले को ये 5 आने दो, और तुम इसको पजेब को वापस लेकर आओ। लेकिन आशुतोष पे कान पे जू नहीं रेंगती है, तो एक और उसका जो है लालच दिया जाता है बच्चे को जो है कि तुम्हें जो है तुम्हें ये दिलाया जाएगा, उसके बाद जो है तुम्हें हम ये देंगे, तुम ये करेंगे। शाबाश, बड़ा अच्छा बेटा है मेरा, मेरे बेटे ने तो चोरी की नहीं है, बड़ा बहादुर है। हम क्या करते हैं, बच्चे को खुश करने के लिए तरह तरह की जो है चीज़ों को अपनाते हैं। मेरा बहादुर बेटा, मेरा अच्छा बेटा, मेरा लाडू बेटा, फला फला करके हम बहुत सारी जो है उसको उपमाएँ देते हैं, और क्या है उसको फिर जो है हम खुश कर देते हैं। तो बच्चा आशुतोष को लगता हाँ 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 ठीक है ठीक है। और फिर वो चाचा आते हैं उसके, और जब चाचा आते हैं उसके, तो चाचा के साथ जाने को तैयार हो जाता है वो। और चाचा जब लेके जाते हैं तो आशुतोष क्या करता है कि रास्ते में जाते हुए वो जो है वापस आ जाता है, और दुकान पर जाने का नाम ही नहीं लेता है। चाचा भी नहीं समझ पाते हैं कि आखिर हो क्या रहा है ये, इसको जो है कितना ही समझाओ, कितना ही कहो, ये वापस क्यों नहीं जाना चाहता है। अब जब हम इसको बोल रहे हैं कि तुम्हारी पिटाई भी नहीं होगी, सारी चीज़ें इस तरीके से है बेटा, है तुम दुकान वाले को सिर्फ तुमको 5 आना देना है और अपनी पाजेब वापस लेनी है, कोई बात नहीं, तुम पतंग ले आए तो कोई बात नहीं, तुमने ये कम कर दिया तो। लेकिन आशुतोष के पैर जो है वो दुकान की तरफ बढ़ ही नहीं रहे हैं। और जैसे जैसे कहानी आगे बढ़ती है तो देखते हैं कि जैसे ही जो है उसकी बुआ वापस आती है, और क्या है, उसके हाथ में दूसरी पाजेब है। जी हाँ, जैनेंद्र की ये कहानी जो है यहाँ पर आकर एक नया मोड़ ले लेती है। इसका क्या मतलब है, इसका मतलब है कि पाजेब चोरी ही नहीं हुई थी, और जो है और उसके बाद जो है ये पाजेब जो है चोरी ही नहीं हुई थी। यानी कि पाजेब जो है वो कहाँ पे थी, पाजेब जो है बुआ के पास गलती से चली गई थी, और उसके ऊपर इतनी बड़ी जो है वो जो है सामान्य सी घटना के ऊपर एक असामान्य सी कहानी लिखी है जैनेंद्र ने। जी हाँ, ये कहानी जो है ये भारतीय समाज की जो कहानी है, बाल मनोविज्ञान की कहानी है, मध्य वर्गीय समाज की कहानी है कि हम चीज़ों को लेते कैसे हैं, कैसे हम चीज़ों को जो है किस तरीके से हम जो है चीज़ों को अपने तरीके से हमें सोचने का पूरा हक है, और हम ऐसा ताना बाना बुन देते हैं कि हमें वो चीज़ जो है वो स्पष्ट और साफ दिखाई देने लगती है। यही तो होता है, कोई भी घटना घटती है और हम निष्कर्ष अपनी तरीके से देते हैं, जबकि सच्चाई कुछ और होती है। यानी कि जो दिखाई देता है वह सत्य नहीं होता है, सत्य एक गहरी तह में छुपा होता है, और उस सत्य तक पहुंचने के लिए जो है किस तरीके से जो है चीज़ें एक एक करके जो सामान्य जो मनुष्य है जो अपना जीवन जो जी रहा है, वह क्या ये घटनाएं जो है उसके जीवन में नहीं घटित होती हैं, और वह क्या चीज़ों को इसी तरीके से नहीं लेता है जिस तरीके से जैनेंद्र ने अपनी ये कहानी लिखी है। क्या गहनों के प्रति जो प्रेम का जो भाव है, ये भारतीय समाज की जो विशेषकर जो महिलाएं हैं उनकी सबसे बड़ी कमजोरी नहीं है? मैत्री पुष्पा क्या लिखती हैं अपनी आत्मकथा गुड़िया भीतर गुड़िया में? वो कहती हैं कि मेरी माँ जो है जैसे ही मैं ससुराल जाती हूँ, ससुराल जाने के बाद जो है क्या है कि मेरे जो ससुराल वालों ने जो गहने मुझे दिए थे, वो जो है क्या है, मेरी माँ जो है एक लेटर लिखती है और जो है बहुत से जो गहने हैं वो क्या है, वो कहती है कि सास चाहती है कि वो अपने पास रखे, मैं चाहती हूँ मैं अपने पास रखूँ। गहनों का अगर हम अध्ययन करते हैं तो इसे स्त्री धन के रूप में जो है माना जाता है, और प्राचीन काल मध्यकाल से और आधुनिक काल तक जो स्त्रियों की जो मनोस्थितियाँ हैं, गहनों के प्रति उसका जो भाव है, उसे विशेष रूप से जो आसक्ति है, उसे विशेष रूप से साहित्यकारों ने अभिव्यक्त किया है। तो क्या कहती है कि मेरी माँ की चिट्ठी आती है और मेरी माँ क्या कहती है कि गहने जो हैं वो क्या हैं, ये गहने जो हैं जो तुम जिनकी तुमने गठरी बना के रखी है, भूल कर भी गहने वापस मत लाना। गहने जो है अनपढ़ महिलाओं की जो है वो पूंजी होती हैं, पढ़ी लिखी लड़कियों की जो पूंजी होती हैं वो उनकी सर्टिफिकेट, मार्कशीट और उनके नंबर होते हैं। यानी कि मार्कशीट में जितने अंक आए हैं वो सर्टिफिकेट, कोर्स, डिप्लोमा, एजुकेशन, शिक्षा जो है वो सबसे बड़ा गहना है। यह बात मैत्री पुष्पा ने अपनी गुड़िया भीतर गुड़िया में लिखी है। यानी कि जब हम प्रेमचंद के गबन उपन्यास की जालपा का जो गहनों के प्रति प्रेम देखते हैं, और आज भी हम भारतीय समाज में जो है गहनों को लेकर जो अवधारणाएं बनी हुई हैं, आभूषणों को लेकर जो दृष्टिकोण जो बना हुआ है, वह क्या है, वह सामान्यतः महिलाओं से ही उसे जोड़ा जाता है। उसे खुश करने के लिए क्या लिखती है दिनेश नंदिनी डालमिया, जैसे ही मुझे डालमिया जी ने हीरे की अंगूठी दी तो क्या है कि मैंने जो है मैं 40,000 की अंगूठी के भार के नीचे दब कर रह गई। जी हाँ, मुन्नी जो है एक मासूम सी बच्ची के हृदय का जो वर्णन जैनेंद्र ने किया है, उसके जो भावों का वर्णन जो है जैनेंद्र जी ने किया है, वो बड़ा ही सार्थक और सटीक वर्णन उन्होंने किया है। जो इस कहानी का जो मूल जो उद्देश्य है वो यही है कि बच्चे जो हैं वो दिल के बहुत सच्चे होते हैं, बड़े कोमल होते हैं, उनके हृदय पे इतनी गहरी छाप नहीं छोड़नी चाहिए कि आने वाले समय में जो है वो उनके दिलो दिमाग पर इस तरीके से छा जाए कि वो जो है उनके आदी हो जाएं। ऐसे चित्र मत खींचिए बच्चों के जेहन के सामने कि उनको जो है गहनों के प्रति लोलुप्तता हो। एक ऐसा भाव जैनेंद्र ने कहा इसके कहानी के माध्यम से दिखाया है कि बच्चे का नाजुक जो हृदय है वो मारने से नहीं, समझाने से और प्रेम करने से ही सुधर सकता है। तभी तो जो है ये प्रेम का जो भाव है वह उसके हृदय मन को जो है कोमल और सहृदय मन को जो है वो हम उसके मन को छू सकते हैं। बच्चे को सिर्फ और सिर्फ प्रेम से और उसके प्रति ऑप्शन रख के उसको आप इस प्रकार से परवरिश दीजिए कि वह जो है उसका जो मनोविज्ञान है वह तार्किक चीज़ों पर ध्यान दे, उसकी बुद्धि का विकास हो, उसका मानसिक सबलता दीजिए। ये कहानी जो है इन्हीं भावों को लेकर जो है जैनेंद्र ने लिखी है, और मध्यवर्गीय समाज की जो विडंबनाएं हैं उनकी कुरूपता का वर्णन भी जैनेंद्र जी ने इस कहानी में किया है। तो कितनी खूबसूरत, कितनी मनमोहक बाल मनोविज्ञान पर आधारित यह कहानी थी, और इसी कहानी का मूल उद्देश्य सिर्फ और सिर्फ बच्चे के कोमल भावों का चित्रण करना ही